right, welcome back. So this is the series where I'm reading the PDF Situational Awareness by Leopold Aschenbrenner, a whiz kid who used to work for OpenAI on ChatGPT, which I've been using a lot. So I got distracted in the last video, and it's a good I'm not. I think it was a good thing that I did because I showed, just how powerful the current version of ChatGPT is. It can guide me through a project here of creating a pipe organ at home in my garage of my one-bedroom apartment. It's built for me a series of links and a bill of materials for everything I would need to get it. I figured out that I could get home delivery. One of the things I need to do is get some planks of wood and then cut them to different sizes. So with home delivery, they can just deliver everything and put it in the garage, and then I can go down in the garage and work on it, and I don't have to worry about, like, for instance, having a truck and putting these planks of wood in the trunk. They'll just deliver them to me. So I need to get quite a few planks of wood to make this organ, of course. But I can't go and get it myself, but I can have it delivered right to my door. So this is one of the files it created for me, and it created the file itself. All I had to do was download and import it up to my Google Drive. So in addition to that, we've got a task list of everything I need to do to build this organ. I need to research and design, and then I can make notes and home organ, build a home organ. So there are some great resources online for doing this. This is something that kind of smart high schoolers do quite a bit for things like science fairs. So there's really no reason I couldn't do this. And we see there's an example of somebody who has done this same project before. So it's not doing something that's never been done before. So here's an example of somebody who built their own organ, and they built a massive wooden organ with bass. What I want is a positive organ. I want one more like this one, but perhaps even smaller than that. So and we can hear what it sounds like. Can we or not? Oh, yeah. And the other thing is, I don't want mine to sound so like churchy. I want it to sound like more like circusy, whimsical. So like there's an example of yeah. So this is probably pretty close to what I want. Yeah, this is like pretty much exactly what I want. Yeah. So it took. Yeah, it took this person a year to make this. I'm gonna try to do it in a month, and the reason it'll take me a month where it took this person a year is because I've got ChatGPT. Yeah. So it's been done before, but it's a big project, and it takes people a year to do this. But I believe that, yeah, I believe that with ChatGPT, ChatGPT is telling me I can do it in a month. So let's put some of these as as notes here. So we got that one. This is an important one. This is like exactly what I'm looking for. All right, and then we've got yeah, so that's the same one. Yep, and then we'll do a how I built an organ in our spare bedroom. So this is a particularly well made one. Yeah, this yeah, a lot of electronics in it too. So I'm not gonna be going for that. Um, yeah, this is another particularly well made one. Oh, so here, yeah, here's the link that I want. Put this in there. Put this in there as well. Okay. And then I think if I do mathematics, yeah, so we'll just do this direct link there, even though it's from the same page. All right, so yeah, we can see it thinks I can do it by the end of next month, but in order for me to be able to do that, I have to purchase all the materials and tools, and I have to do that by the 6th of so I have to do it by the end of next week if I want to try to finish this by next month, and then after that I need to use the handsaw to cut the lumber to the sizes that I need, and perhaps I need to prepare it at this point, maybe like varnish it and paint it at this point. I don't know. You know, I'd be working with ChatGPT more. But then after that, assemble the frame, then construct and install the pipes. So mathematics matter. Then after that, the bellows and the wind system, which is going to be probably one of the harder things. They do have a bellows system at Home Depot for camping. That I have in my cart. So if you're a camper and you need to blow up a tent or blow up something, they make a 9-inch portable foot pump, and this would probably be perfect for an organ. They also have electric pumps. So an electric pump would an electric air pump would mean I'd have to plug the organ in order to play it, but it would make for a much better experience than using a foot bellows. So here's a 12-volt electric air pump, but we have all kinds of choices when it comes to electric air pumps, and electric air pumps are not particularly expensive. So we have a portable inflator here for under $150. Yeah, so I think we an inflator is probably what we need rather than a necessarily a pump. I mean, we'd have to do the mathematics and work closer with ChatGPT to really make this happen. All right, so yeah, so then after I construct the bellows, I install the keyboard. So install the keyboard and mechanisms, tune the organ and test functionality, paint and varnish the organ, and then final adjustments and assembly. So these are all medium priority. If it's a little bit out of tune, if it's not painted and varnished, if it's a little bit wonky and quirky, that's fine. But if I really want to get it done, then I have to do all these steps, and I have to do them quick. I have to finish this step by the end of next week, and then after that, I only have until the 9th. So I have to finish it before the weekend, and then I have to use the weekend to focus entirely on this. And remember, ChatGPT did all of this for me. This plan here, these tasks, these descriptions, it came straight from ChatGPT, straight out of it. So then we have a project timeline and a Gantt chart. So it's the same dates here. It's pretty much the same kind of spreadsheet as the task list, but we do have these dependencies here. So to research and design the project, that's we don't have any dependencies, but now we can see how we have it clearly stated that the what the dependencies are. So and then we have the start date and the end date more clearly stated, and then we have the budget. So yeah, a little bit, not quite there yet, but that's the point. Is imagine this sort of thing becoming so much more advanced and sophisticated. Imagine having robotic assemblers. This is the world that we're in, and if it was just a little bit better, this is the world we'd be in today. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there was some research version of ChatGPT or that could do this a lot better. I would not be surprised if that were the case. All right, so with that out of the way, big distraction, but I think it's not completely unrelated because it's showing you what's going to get better about this over the next few years, like as we race to the $1 trillion cluster. So the most extraordinary techno capital acceleration has been set in motion. As AI revenue grows rapidly, many trillions of dollars will go into GPU, data center, and power build-out before the end of the decade. The industrial mobilization, including growing U.S. electricity production by tens of percent, will be intense. And pay attention to that, because data center. If you're thinking of a CCNA trek to go down, guess what? Data center. So if we look at the CCNA certification, because this is fundamentally a networking channel, so I'm going to come back to this a lot. We've got a lot of different branches now. We've got so let's take a look at so if I go to my career and I go to my technical development certifications. I should have the Cisco certs bookmarked. I have a lot of certs I wanted to get, but I didn't get any of them. So let's okay, well, I don't know why Cisco they're making it really hard to because that enterprise was already selected there. So yeah, the enterprise cert, I really don't think that's the future, because a lot of employers want employees to work from home for some reason, but I think a lot of them, there's going to be a huge demand for working from home. So I don't think enterprise is the way forward. Really, the way forward, in my opinion, and is you gotta become a data center CCNP. That would go far in the next few years. You know what? I might even honestly make this a goal. Based on what I'm reading here, a data center. Yeah, this would go very, very far. Yeah, because they're going to be spending $1 trillion on data centers over the next few years. So I'm going to bookmark this, actually. So I'll bookmark it under certifications. Yeah. Okay. So you see, I told you it couldn't be done without turning the whole country into a factory. You have done just that. Niels Bohr to Edward Teller upon learning of the scale of the Manhattan Project in 1944. And I think that's something a lot of people kind of get wrong about the Manhattan Project, is they think it was this small, secretive thing done by a team of elite researchers. No, it was a massive project. So and we'll learn more about it now. So I think one thing a lot of people get wrong about the Manhattan Project in the USA during World War II to develop nuclear weapons is that it was just a small, secretive, locked down project by a team of elite researchers, when in actuality there were thousands of people working on this project, and manufacturing and industrial mobilization had to happen in ways that were new and novel in order to make this a possibility. So really, the idea that it's kind of a small project done by a small team of elites is just completely a misconception, because it was this massive marvel of manufacturing success.
Absolutely, the Manhattan Project was far more than a small,
Yeah,
secretive effort by a handful of
exactly.
elite scientists. It was indeed a massive industrial and scientific endeavor involving thousands of people and significant
Yeah,
resources. Here are some key points to highlight its scale and
right.
complexity. Massive workforce personnel. The Manhattan
Hundreds
Project
of
employed over
thousands.
130,000 people across various sites in the United States, including
See?
scientists, engineers, military personnel, and
Yeah.
support staff. Diverse roles. Workers range from top physicists like J. Robert Oppenheimer and Enrico Fermi to laborers and clerical workers, illustrating the broad
Right.
spectrum of expertise and labor required.
Yeah.
Industrial mobilization. Large-scale facilities. Significant industrial sites were constructed, such as Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Hanford, Washington, and Los Alamos, New Mexico.
It wasn't just
These
Los
facilities were
Alamos.
enormous
There
and
were
built specifically for the
multiple
project's needs.
facilities.
Manufacturing challenges. The project required unprecedented amounts of materials, such as uranium and plutonium.
Yeah,
This
and they
necessitated
had
the
to get
development
all
of new methods for
this.
processing and refining these materials on an industrial scale.
Yeah, they invent new ways
Technological
of.
innovation. Scientific breakthroughs. The Manhattan Project pushed the boundaries of scientific knowledge, leading to significant advancements in nuclear physics,
Yeah.
engineering, and material science. Engineering feats. Building the atomic bomb required solving complex engineering problems, from designing the bomb itself to developing delivery mechanisms. Logistical and organizational complexity. Secrecy and coordination. Maintaining secrecy while coordinating such a vast and dispersed operation was a major challenge. The project was managed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers under the direction of General Leslie Groves.
100,000
Collaboration. The project brought together some of the
people.
greatest minds from universities, private industry, and government agencies, fostering a level of collaboration that was unprecedented at the time.
130,000
Economic
people.
investment cost. The total cost of the Manhattan Project was about $2 billion and $1,945, equivalent to approximately $30 billion today, reflecting the massive financial investment.
Cheap.
Resource allocation. The project diverted vast amounts of resources from other wartime efforts, emphasizing its priority and importance to the U.S. government. Impact on post-war science and industry. Technological legacy. The technological and scientific advancements from the Manhattan Project had lasting impacts, leading to developments in various fields, including medicine, energy, and material science. Foundation for future projects. The organizational and logistical lessons learned laid the groundwork for future large-scale scientific and industrial projects. In summary, the Manhattan Project was not a small, isolated endeavor, but a massive, complex, and multifaceted operation that required significant
For
industrial
sure.
mobilization, extensive workforce, and substantial financial resources. It stands as a testament to the ability to achieve monumental scientific and engineering feats through coordinated effort and innovation.
Yeah, so can you give me some free online videos I can watch that are really solid, historically accurate, factual, but that are fun to watch, available to watch in full on YouTube or something, where I can learn more about this, because yeah, it's fascinating, and they had to figure out so many things, like a triggering mechanism. They had to figure out how to do it safely so it didn't happen accidentally while they were working on it. I'm sure there were a bunch of near miss accidents where it accidentally went off, and I'm sure the history is fascinating, and I really only have a surface level knowledge of it.
Certainly, here are a few solid, historically accurate, and engaging documentaries about the Manhattan Project that you can watch online. Manhattan Project on Documentary Heaven. This documentary provides an in-depth look at the development of the atomic bomb, featuring government files, archival footage, and accounts from surviving members of the project team. It's a comprehensive overview that covers the scientific, engineering, and manufacturing challenges faced during the project. Watch on
Cool.
Documentary Heaven. Documentary Heaven. The Moment in Time. Manhattan Project by UCTV. This
Look at
video
that.
documents the early days of World War II and the urgent efforts to develop the atomic bomb, featuring recollections from those who worked on it. It's well regarded for its detailed and personal perspective on the project. Watch on
Documentary
UCTV.
Heaven.
www. It's informative and provides a good mix of technical details and personal stories.
No.
Watch on Top Documentary Films. Top Documentary Films. These documentaries will give you a deeper understanding of the Manhattan Project scope, the technological hurdles overcome, and the human
These
stories
are
behind this pivotal moment in history.
documentaries.
Enjoy diving into this fascinating topic.
These are conspiratorial documentaries, I think. All right. Top documentary films. Oh, so this is the same across. Is Documentary Heaven kind of a? Is that kind of a conspiratorial place with not a lot of factual information?
Certainly. Here are some highly recommended documentaries about the Manhattan Project that are both informative and engaging. Available on trusted
Oh,
platforms. 1000 Days of Fear. The Deadly Race at Los Alamos. This PBS documentary.
yeah. I guess I'd rather watch like a PBS documentary. This is on. Yeah, I think this will probably be better. Yeah, this is so fascinating. I gotta watch this at some point. Uh, okay, so I can watch it on YouTube if I want. Okay, this says it's the best one. See, I don't know what these are too. Like, I want something that's verified and factual, and not just made up. Anyway, Niels Bohr to Edward Teller upon learning. Yep. So the race to AGI won't just play out in code and behind laptops. It'll be a race to mobilize America's industrial might. Unlike anything else we've recently seen come out of Silicon Valley, AI is a massive industrial process. Each new model requires a giant new cluster, soon giant new power plants, and eventually giant new chip fabs. The investments involved are staggering, but behind the scenes, they are already in motion. In this chapter, I'll walk you through numbers to give you a sense of what this will mean. As revenue from AI products grows rapidly, plausibly hitting a $100 billion annual run rate for companies like Google or Microsoft by around 2026, with powerful but pre-AGI systems that will motivate ever greater capital mobilization, and total AI investment could be north of 1 trillion annually by 2027. So by 2030, there will be $3 trillion invested into this thing. It's like, yeah, it's like stop now and change gears into getting skills related to this, because you will be in high demand, and you'll get a slice of that $3 trillion pie. We're on the path to individual training clusters. So this is the $1 trillion cluster generated by AI. So we're on the path to individual training clusters costing hundreds of billions by 2028. Clusters requiring power equivalent to a small/medium U.S. state and more expensive than the International Space Station. By the end of the decade, we are headed to 1 trillion plus individual training clusters, requiring power equivalent to greater than 20% of U.S. electricity production. Trillions of dollars of capex will churn out hundreds of millions of GPUs per year overall. NVIDIA shocked the world as its data center sales exploded from about 14 billion annualized to about 90 billion annualized in the last year. But that's still just the very beginning. Training compute. Earlier, we found a roughly half order of magnitude, as mentioned earlier, order of magnitude OOM, or order equals order of magnitude. A 10x, 10 times increase equals 1 order of magnitude. So this will be about a 5-time increase. So earlier we found a roughly half order of magnitude per year trend growth of AI training compute. If this trend were to continue for the rest of the decade, what would that mean for the largest training clusters? So for the rest of the decade, so that would be up until 2029 would be the last year in the decade. I think, unless the decade starts with 1. It looks like here the author is saying it does start with 1. This is table 4, scaling the largest training clusters. Rough back of envelope calculations. For details on the calculations, see appendix. So in the year 2022, The order of magnitude is GPT-4 cluster. H100 is equivalent. I think that's an NVIDIA hardware. I'm not sure about that. Cost $500,000. Power 10 megawatt. And then that's about the same power as 10,000 average homes. Scaling up is the same power. Then the next one in 2024, 100,000 homes. Then the next power reference class is the the Hoover Dam, or a large nuclear reactor. Then a small/medium U.S. state, and then greater than 20% of U.S. Electricity production. So 1/5 of all the electricity in the United States should be in use for AI applications by 2023, if not 1/4. This may be hard to believe, but it appears to be happening. Zuck, which is shorthand for Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, bought 350 H100s, so 350,000 H100s. So these are NVIDIA devices, and it's people are just buying them from NVIDIA. Yeah, so this is what he bought. It's an NVIDIA H100, and it looks like there's multiple kinds of NVIDIA H100s. There's one with 80 gigabytes. There's one with 94, but it looks like they're about in the ballpark of $30,000. So let's go with the one from that's got the good rating here. It's a little bit cheaper. So this is an RTX H100. Could be used for and here's the A100, which was mentioned by the author quite a bit as well. The A100 is a less powerful version. And then we've got ones that are probably more for like gaming. I have an RTX 2060, so like an RTX on mine. But this is what whoever gets the most of these and can get them to develop super intelligence first wins. So yeah, there's kind of a race happening right now. We can see only one of these is left in stock because people are buying them up like crazy. And how big is this thing? It's tiny. It's a small fit in your hand thing, and it costs nearly $30,000. So if this is kind of blowing your mind, this is where we're at in the world today. People are trying to get these small things that fit in the palm of your hand. And they're buying them up in bulk, hundreds of thousands of them at a time, and they're paying millions and millions of dollars to do so. And there's kind of a global race against the clock. Whoever gets that super intelligence first could end up a very big winner. So Amazon bought a 1 gigawatt data center campus next to a good nuclear power plant. Rumors suggest a 1 gigawatt, 1.4 million H100 equivalent cluster, so around 2026 cluster, is being built in Kuwait. Media report that Microsoft and OpenAI are rumored to be working on a $1 billion cluster slated for 2028, a cost comparable to the International Space Station. So yeah, the amount of money right now being spent on this is astronomical. It's the space race. It's just like this. We're in right now a moment in time like the space race, and it doesn't seem like it's crazy because a man hasn't gone on the moon yet. Like, we have ChatGPT. ChatGPT's great, but this pipe orbiting project, the files kind of suck. Like, they're not complete. I really don't know how to, if I were to spend the amount of money on this, which could be like, close to $1,000. Let's see what I got in my cart so far. So I've got 26 items in my cart, and that's not everything I need. I'd have to do a final review. So, I mean, it's $500. But that's a lot. So, and then that doesn't even guarantee that I'll have everything I need. I might. I have the tubing system. I have that foot pump that might be able to service the bellows. But I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to build like the keyboard system, the keyboard mechanisms. I just feel like this is not quite. This is not going to be enough. I'm going to find that when I start, I'm missing a lot of things that I really badly need for the project. And then not only that, pine softwood. Does that sound good in an instrument? Like, normally instruments use different kinds of wood than pine, as far as I know. So yeah, it's we're in an extraordinary time where all this money is being spent, where this will probably be sold very soon. And there's only one left in stock, and it costs $30,000. There's one here. There's only two left in stock here, and they're just buying it up 100,000 at a time. So yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of jokes on here. These are jokes, and here's the person who doesn't get the joke, ruining it for everyone. Ignore all the reviews on this page. This is not a graphics card. It is a specialized GPU solely for training AI/machine learning models. Yeah. So yeah, like, that's the joke. 1% lows of frames per second. Like, come on. Just yeah. So these are all really funny jokes. Couldn't even imagine. Yeah, these are really, really funny. Really funny jokes. Yeah. So H100s, A100s. Those are the building blocks of super intelligence, and they're in high demand today. And you can have one for the low price of $30,000, but there's really not much you'll be able to do with it. And it fits into a PCI Express port, so you could actually fit it into your computer, depending on the computer. Most if you have a desktop computer, most computers you should be able to just fit this in, but. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to do much with it, and at this $30,000 price tag, and you got to order quick because they're running out of stock. Yeah, probably not a good buy. All right, so, and as each generation of models shocks the world, further acceleration may yet be in store. Perhaps the wildest part is that willingness to spend doesn't even seem to be the binding constraint at the moment, at least for training clusters. It's finding the infrastructure itself. Where do I find a 10 gigawatt power for the 100 billion plus trend 2028 cluster is a favorite topic of conversation in San Francisco. What any compute guy is thinking about is securing power, land, permitting, and data center construction. While it may take you a year of waiting to get the GPUs, the lead times for these are much longer still. One key uncertainty is how distributed learning will be if, instead of needing that amount of power in one location, we could spread it among 100 locations. It'd be a lot easier. So yeah, just absolutely extraordinary times. Don't be blindsided by it. Have situational awareness. That's what the author's advocating for. And if you're watching this and it's because this is a networking channel, which it is, and therefore you're looking into certifications, you're getting your CCNA, which is great. That's a great way to start to get into tech. Um, data center. I'm telling you, data center. Forget all of this. Forget cloud. Definitely forget enterprise. Who wants to work in an enterprise nowadays? DevNet, you're good. You know, data center and DevNet. There you go. That's what you need. Get your CCNA, which is a prerequisite for everything, and then get a DevNet professional and get a data center professional, and you're going to be like, forget about anything else. Maybe cybersecurity is probably fine, especially if like you're really interested in that. But I just don't think it's data center and DevNet. This is your ticket. All right, so the $1 trillion cluster, over 4 orders of magnitude from the GPT-4 cluster, around 2030 training cluster on the current trend will be a truly extraordinary effort. The 100 gigawatt of power it'll require is equivalent to more than 1/5 of U.S. electricity production. Imagine not just a simple warehouse with GPUs, but hundreds of power plants. It will take a national consortium. So 1/5 of U.S. electricity, there are 50 states, so that would be 10 states. Now, it depends on the size of the states. So if we averaged them all out to the same size, then it would be 10 states. Note that I think it's pretty likely we'll only need around $100 billion cluster or less for AGI. The $1 trillion cluster might be what we'll train and run superintelligence on, or what we'll use it for AGI if AGI is harder than expected. In any case, in a post-AGI world, having the most compute will probably still really matter. So that's a good point. AGI and ASI, artificial superintelligence, are different things. And the author outlined in the previous section why once we get AGI, we will have ASI soon after, but it won't be the next day. It will take a little bit of time. The training runs it requires to make artificial intelligence more intelligent take some time themselves. So at the very least, there'll need to be a massive training run, which will take like maybe a month, and we might get to artificial superintelligence after that. But it's not going to be instant. There's going to be a period of at least a few months. And you know what? To be honest, at most a few months. Like it will happen, because the first thing AGI will be used for is to automate AI research. Because the stakes of being the first to that game are so high. So many people are going to be working on that and prioritizing it. It's really we're in it's you can almost think of it like the Manhattan Project is happening right now, but it's not private the same way it used to be. So overall compute, the above are just rough numbers for the largest training clusters. Overall investment is likely to be much larger still. A large fraction of GPUs will probably be used for inference. See, for example, Zuck here. Only around 45,000 of his H100s are in his largest training clusters. The vast majority of his 35,000 H100s for inference. Okay. Yeah. Meta likely has heavier inference needs than other players who serve fewer customers so far, but as everyone else's AI products scale, I expect inference to become a strong majority of the GPUs. All right. Okay. I need to take a seat here. All right, so I'm sitting down. That's good. So, GPUs to actually run the AI systems for products. Oh, right. So yeah, there's a difference between training and there's a difference between using them in production. So kind of like using them in the lab versus using them in production. So the majority will be used in production. And there could be multiple players with giant clusters in the race. My rough estimate is that 2024 will already feature 100 to 200 billion of AI investment. Nvidia data center revenue will hit a around 25 billion per quarter run rate soon. For example, around 100 billion of capex flowing via Nvidia alone. But of course, Nvidia isn't the only player. Google's TPUs are great too. And close to half of data center capex is on things other than chips, site, building, cooling, power, etc. For example, this total cost of ownership analysis estimates that around 40% of a large cluster cost is the H100 GPUs itself, and another 13% goes to NVIDIA for InfiniBand networking. Yep. So people on this channel should be familiar with that. For AI, you need something faster than Ethernet. Ethernet just doesn't get as fast enough. That said, excluding cost of capital in the calculation would mean the GPUs are about 50% of the cost, and with networking, NVIDIA gets a bit over 60% of the cost of the cluster. But Ethernet is catching up. There are advances to Ethernet. All right, so big tech has been dramatically ramping their capex numbers. Microsoft and Google will likely do 50 billion plus, and apparently, despite Microsoft growing capex by 79% compared to a year ago in recent quarter, their AI cloud demand still exceeds supply. Okay, so they're not growing as fast, but their demands are still in service. So even the losers in this, even the ones that don't do as well as the others, will still do very, very, very well. So AWS and Meta, 40 billion plus in capex this year. Not all of this is AI, but combined, their capex will have grown 50 billion to 100 billion year over year because of the AI boom. And even then, they are still cutting back on other capex to shift even more spending to AI. Moreover, other cloud providers, companies, for example, Tesla is spending 10 billion on AI this year, and nation states are investing in AI as well. So yeah, with all this money spent, like, you really think it's not gonna grow? Like, look at the money. Like this is the thing now. This is like the Manhattan Project, but it's just not secretive in the same way. So figure 28 is quarterly NVIDIA data center revenue. Yeah. And then figure 29 is big capex is growing extremely rapidly since ChatGPT unleashed the AI boom. So yeah, I mean, I pay, like, I should be doing more with AI, to be honest. I feel like I'm not doing enough with AI. Let's play this forward. My best guess is overall compute investments will grow more slowly than the 3-time per year largest training clusters, let's say 2 times per year. A larger fraction of global GPU production will probably be going to the largest training cluster in the future than today. For example, because of a consolidation to just a few leading labs, rather than many companies having frontier model scale clusters. Regarding power, of course, not all of this will be in the US, but to give a reference class. And these aren't just my idiosyncratic numbers. AMD forecasted a 400 billion AI accelerator market by 2027, implying 700 billion plus of total AI spending, pretty close to my numbers, and they are surely much less AGI pilled than I am. Sam Altman is reported to be in talks to raise funds for a project of up to 7 trillion in capex to build out AI compute capacity. This number was widely mocked, but it seems less crazy if you run the numbers here. One way or another, this massive scale up is happening. So, Table 5 is playing forward trends on total world AI investment. Rough back of the envelope calculation. For some further details on calculations, see appendix. So, so power as a percentage of U.S. electricity production, 100%. We're going to be, we're going to be investing around $8 trillion on this thing if the trends play forward. And now this is world investment. So yeah, the United States isn't going to spend 100%, but the world will be spending enough. Will be putting enough power into AI to the scale that the total power the world is investing into this will be as much as the U.S. is able to produce on its own, if not more. So. Chips as percentage of current leading edge TSMC wafer production. So 2030, lot of changes. This part of the century is really So. Yeah, so one way or another, this massive scale up is happening. The will is there, the money is there, the technology is there. There's nothing holding it back. And there are things holding it back. The author went over it. There are things like complementicity, where like it depends on humans doing things, and like humans can't do it at the rate it needs to. There's things like bottlenecks, but they're all things that won't hold it back very far. All right, so will it be done? Can it be done? The scale of investment postulated here may seem fantastical, but both the demand side and the supply side seem like they could support the above trajectory. The economic returns justify the investment. The scale of expenditures is not unprecedented for a new general purpose technology, and the industrial mobilization for power and chips is doable. AI revenue. Companies will make large AI investments if they expect the economic returns to justify it. Reports suggest OpenAI was at a $1 billion revenue run rate in August 2023 and a $2 billion revenue run rate in February 2024. That's roughly a doubling every 6 months. If that trend holds, we should see around 10 billion, and something happened here. So let's see if I can get back to where it was. So we'll go to the bookmark and then move forward from there and see if we can find where that was. So can it be done? The scale of investment postulated here may seem fantastical, but both the demand side and the supply side seem like they could support the above trajectory. The economic returns justify the investment. The scale of expenditures is not unprecedented for a new general purpose technology, and the industrial mobilization for power and chips is doable. AI revenue. Companies will make large AI investments if they expect the economic returns to justify it. Reports suggest OpenAI was at a $1 billion revenue run rate in August 2023 and a $2 billion revenue run rate in February 2024. That's roughly a doubling every 6 months. If that trend holds, we should see a around $10 billion annual run rate by late 2024 slash early 2025, even without pricing in a massive surge from any next generation model. One estimate puts Microsoft at around 5 billion of incremental AI revenue already. Okay. Yeah, this is just all right. I feel like this is a good time to. This is a good place to stop. So basically, yeah, this PDF is kind of blowing my mind. And I feel like I have to take action. And the thing that makes the most sense, I think, for me to take action with is, so my CCNA will be expiring in 2025. So I think I should try to renew it by getting a CCMP or something like a DevNet professional, so just whatever renews it. You can go in and you can look at the things that will renew your CCNA. So I think a data center CCMP is going to be so valuable during this time that we're reading about, that is now and that is only going to grow in the future. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get a CCMP data center certification, because that'll just be really important in the future. So yeah, so I'm glad I read this. It was really blowing my mind. I didn't realize that the future of AI is so bright. I kind of had some sense, but it's like when we're using ChatGPT, it's like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's kind of sucks in some ways, but it's like we're right at the beginning. This is an Apple II computer. This is the original Apple II computer that Steve Jobs used at his desk. So this is what ChatGPT is right here. See this? This is what we're using on ChatGPT. So yeah, it's ignore it at your own peril. So that's it, and see you in the next one.